These are four signs that prove that you are dealing with someone that is damaged, or four signs that proves to you that you are damaged. Remember, this is a no judge and no criticizing zone. So you got to be strong enough to learn things about yourself, even if it is negative, because the only way that you can get up here is to know that you're right here so that you know how far you need to go to get there. So one person that you never lie to is yourself. So know the four signs. And if you are dealing with someone that is damaged, you need to be able to recognize that so you can know what your next move going to be. Because a lot of people that are damaged, they can't be repaired. They have to repair themselves, and you can help repair them. But if they aren't willing to repair themselves and you are willing to repair them, trust me, through experience, you are going to waste your time. So after you recognize with these four signs that you're dealing with somebody that's damaged, you got a decision to make. But we're not going to just focus on the what, as in what is wrong, what is happening. We're going to focus on the whys, the hows, the whens, because that's how we do. I will give you my solution. You'll have to go to my website for the solution. But right here, we're going to talk about the issues. 365 straight days of happiness.
Now, if I treat you the way I treat me, that motivates you to do what we need. Now, if you treat me the way you treat you, and maybe we'll be one as two can be. I know I'm good for you, you good for me, we good for each other.
So the first sign of a damaged person is patience. If a person do not have patience, that is a clear sign that they have mental weaknesses that they have to strengthen up. Mental weaknesses that they have to strengthen up if a person is impatient. Now, there are a lot of situations where a person can be impatient. You could be impatient at the drive-thru because the line is long and they take it too long. You could be impatient because the delivery person is taking too long with your food, or at the restaurant, your food is late. You could be impatient that the person that you called did not call you right back. There are a lot of situations where people are very, very impatient, or can be very, very impatient. And it can cause a major problem in your relationship, especially if you're trying to build it to a partnership. It is very difficult to deal with somebody that is impatient. And if you are the one that's impatient, we got to work on that. So, impatience, it is a mental weakness that comes from a lot of pain. A lot of weaknesses comes from pain. When you can't just sit there and be patient that the person that you text did not text you back right away. That blue check did not pop up, that they even read the message. And you're getting antsy. What's going through your mind probably is that the person is doing something that they shouldn't be doing. When you call somebody and it goes straight to voicemail, you call them and they don't call you back. This is your man, this is your woman. You start to get impatient because the mistrust starts to come about. Your mind starts to wonder, what are you doing? You're supposed to be at home. Why aren't you answering your phone? This isn't like you. You must be doing something you ain't got no business doing. I'm going to need an explanation. You start to get heated. And you build yourself up with so much fire because you are anticipating that something is wrong. You don't have the patience to just sit back and be like, okay, he or she will call me back in a minute. You don't have that mental strength to just be cool to see what the situation is before you start to assume that it's something bad. Assume that you are going to get hurt. And that could be because you've gone through a lot of pain. A lot of pain is what's resulting in you being impatient, where the person that you're supposed to be picking up isn't ready, even though you told them you 10 minutes away and they still come out 10 minutes late. Yes, I understand it. You have to be able to handle the things that life is going to throw your way, because it's not going to just go your way. People are not going to be on your time. If everybody is on your time, then whose time are you on? That's the balance in life. Sometimes people are going to be on your time. Sometimes you're going to be on your own time. Sometimes you got to be on other people's time. That's just the balance in life. You have to be patient. You have to wait. Another reason or another situation where people are impatient is in the dating scene. So you're dating somebody, ladies, and you get that text saying, what's up? What's up with the cookies? It's been a week. We ain't did nothing yet. Why you ain't give me the cookies after a week? A week? A week. Why she ain't give you the cookies after a week? Probably because she don't know you well enough. That's why. Probably because you ain't dealing with that type of female that's ready to let it go the first day that y'all meet. Maybe she ain't that bar girl that you was hoping for, that club girl you was hoping for. Maybe when you took a picture with them dollars in your hand, she ain't that type of woman that's like, oh yeah, let me hold something and you can get some of these cookies. Maybe you just got the wrong one. Every woman ain't really going. Just because a lot of women that you deal with going, that doesn't mean that every woman is going. Why are you so impatient to get the cookies from somebody that's really just trying to get to know you? Fellas, you could be dating a woman, and after a month, she asks you, what are we? It's been a month. I don't want my time wasted. A month? You know how long it takes to actually get to know somebody? A month is not a long time. A month is not enough time to put a tag on somebody because you barely know that person. Y'all haven't even gone through the experiences and the different situations to even figure out if you like each other in the long run, if you care about each other in the long run, if you love each other in the long run. You might not even have a lot of love built or be in love with that person. So a lot of what y'all are supposed to be building in that foundation, it hasn't even been built yet. You got to be patient. But I understand where that comes from because you don't want your time wasted. Maybe because you've been dealing with a lot of guys that just want to bed hop around and you don't want to be just another number that he ain't slept with. You don't want to be somebody that being used for your mind, your body, your resources, or your stability. So I get it. You feel comfortable with that title. But the problem is you can have the title to the car, but that don't mean that you can drive it every day. So you're more focused on the title. You're more focused on what it looks like, what it sounds like. Who is he? Is that your man? You're more focused on what other people will, how they will view what the relationship that you have with this man as opposed to what it actually is. Because when you're building something great with someone, you're building that kingdom, you're building that castle with that person, it takes time. You would appreciate how slow of the process it is to really get to know somebody before you put that tag on them. Understand, you don't need the tag. You don't need the title to actually be there. A person don't have to say, that's my woman, to treat you like you're his woman. This is the time for you to pay attention to all of the signs, to pay attention to the type of man that he is. Pay attention to the type of woman that she is so that you can understand if this is the type of person that you should deal with in the long run, or if it's just a short game thing. And hopefully y'all are honest with each other and y'all can be on the same page with whatever that it is. But a month is not enough time. 2 months is probably not even enough time to really pressure somebody to tell you what it is and what's going on. You should already know what it is and what's going on by how you're being treated. Focus more on how you're being treated as opposed to what the title is. Impatience is being impatient and rushing things is a whole lot worse than actually waiting to see what it is. And it's not what it is. If you rush something, you can rush a great thing to the dirt because you wasn't patient enough to let things build. Let things build up, be patient, learn and understand, and just live in the moments. And just learn how to treat a person and let that person treat you how they want to treat you. And then you figure out what it is as opposed to that title. So that impatience really comes from a lot of pain. It comes from being dealt wrong. Are you just stringing me along? Do you just want me for my money? Do you just want me for sex? It comes from a lot of pain, so you're bringing on that baggage to your current situation. That's where that impatience comes in there. Number 2, attitude and easily angered. Ladies with an attitude. You already know that mid to top tier men do not like a woman that has an attitude. That is not a personality trait that they look for. Men genuinely do not like dealing with a woman that has an attitude. An attitude and being easily angered, this is a direct reflection of how weak the heart is. Your heart is too weak to handle what's going on around you. So you have to emotionally respond to it. So you have an attitude because you've been done wrong so many times. Maybe in this same situation where that man did not respond to you right away, maybe one of your exes was cheating on you. And so maybe it's just replaying it in your mind. Maybe being strung along and not knowing what the title is, that has happened to you before, and you found out that a guy already had a woman or he had a wife and he was trying to play you. Just because things has happened in the past, it does not mean that it's happening right here in the present. You can't have an attitude because you are emotionally damaged due to what has happened to you in the past. You can't bring that to your current situation, or else your current situation is going to be the same exact as your past situation. That attitude has to go, ladies. You don't even want to deal with someone with an attitude. There's nothing special about anybody that brings negativity to the plate. It does not matter what you look like, how many positives that you have. If you got a line of negatives, and an attitude is one of them, you are not no different from any other woman that has an attitude problem. It puts you in the same boat, and that's why you can get treated the same way as every other female that has the same problems, regardless of how you look. Yes, with the BBL. Yes, with the implants. Yes, if you are a baddie, it does not matter. Eventually, y'all all will get treated the same if you all act the same. So, that emotional weakness, we got to strengthen that up. Fellas, that's easily angered. I put way more responsibility on you fellas because you are the leader. The leader cannot be easily angered. How can you lead your household? How can you lead your woman when you are easily angered? When you fussing at her all the time? When you getting angry at the things that she's doing, the things that she's saying, the things she's not doing and saying? How can you properly lead her and lead you two in the right direction when you getting mad so often about things that you could just be cool about? If she's not doing the things that you need her to do, you are supposed to calmly lead her in the direction that you need her to be in. You're supposed to teach her that this is how you want to be treated. This is how you want things to be, so that she have a full understanding of what you need so she can give it to you. You can't get mad that you're not getting what you want. You can't get mad that she's give you what you don't want and what you don't need. So you're going to argue with her about it. And yeah, I can get if it's happened 5, 10, 20 times. I understand. You have to find other ways of making her understand, or else you got to sit back and make a decision on who the person that you're dealing with, because your happiness still comes first. Let me explain that in a different way. If you treat her right and you put her first, she puts you first, neither one of you comes second. So that's where that comes in at. Put her first, she put you first, no one comes second. But your personal happiness is still has to be number one on your list. You can't destroy yourself for someone else by putting somebody else first, because that means that they aren't putting you first. If your happiness got to be destroyed in that process. So if she's not understanding, you got to sit her down and let her know, like, man, this ain't going to go on too long, because you are affecting my happiness. You're not understanding, you're not adapting, you're not changing. You're doing the same things over and over and over again. We can't keep going through the same situations over and over and over again. There are different ways of going about the negatives and getting the information through to her to see what she'll do than to just argue. Because there are a lot of women that will eventually do what you need. They'll do it right away. And then there are just women that just will never do it. So you can't waste your time, and you can't argue with somebody to get them to do what they need to do. If it takes you to get beastly, and it takes you to open that cage and let that beast out, In order for her to do what you need to do, that's going to eventually get both of you in a lot of trouble. You can't lose yourself in order for somebody else to do what you need them to do. That's dangerous, and you need to get away from that. So as a leader, fellas, you need to find a better way of communicating what needs to be done. You need to find a better way of communicating what she's doing that don't need to be done in your partnership. And you need to continue to go down a positive path. We ain't losing our bodies no more. 365 straight days of happiness or nothing. The third thing, being argumentative. Being argumentative is another sign of emotional weakness. It's another sign of that because the situation that you're in, that you did something wrong. If you were the person that did something wrong, you can't handle what your man or what your woman is saying about you. It hurts you. It digs deep into your heart, into your soul to hear that you did or said something wrong. So you respond in a way that's very combative. You're taking their words as if they are attacking you. And that may come from you being attacked so often. It may have come from your exes have fussed at you and argued with you so many times. And so in your mind and in your heart, you believe that you have to defend yourself every time somebody is coming at you. Every time somebody's saying that you're doing something wrong, you have to protect yourself and make yourself appear to be strong. But a strong person can take the advice of others. A strong person can hear what their man is saying, hear what their woman is saying, and be like, okay, I got you. You ain't got to worry about it. You know, it's us against the world. I'm with you. If this is what you need, cool. If you don't need me to do this no more, cool. I could change that. That's what a strong man to do. That's what a strong woman to do. But to argue about it, a man say, baby, don't do that no more. That's embarrassing. What? What you mean it's embarrassing? You embarrassing me? That's weakness. Being argumentative is a sign of weakness. And if you are that person that is weak, that is very argumentative, you got to look in the mirror and say, what is it that you need to do to be better? If you're dealing with somebody that's very argumentative, you got to look in the mirror and say, what is my next move? Because trying to get an argumentative approach out of a person, man, that's going to take a long time. Trust me. And it ain't worth it. Ain't nobody worth it. And at the end of that, that person may or may not destroy that argumentative behavior that's lingering inside of them. It's a gamble. Do you really want to gamble with that? If you are the type of person that's dealing with somebody that's very argumentative, and so you're going to find other outlets to bring in that happiness that you're not getting from home, you bring in the happiness that's being destroyed because you're going through so many arguments, you're going to get yourself in trouble out there in them streets. That's when you bring a baby home. That's when you get pregnant by somebody else. That's when you end up sleeping with somebody's friend. That's when you end up having feelings for the side dude, the side female. That's when you bring outside problems to your in-house. That argument is almost like a gateway drug to things that's even worse, because arguing pushes people away. The more space that you have between you and this other person, the bigger the opportunities will be for somebody else to slide in or other things to slide in to provide that happiness that you are destroying in-house. So we have to strengthen ourselves emotionally to stop being combative and argumentative. The next thing, don't listen. A person that don't listen, this is a sign of mental weakness that you have to strengthen. A person that don't listen is clearly not a leader, because every leader has a round table of people. Every leader or any business will hire people that knows more than what they know, that knows how to do these specific things, and that person will listen to them. A leader will delegate tasks to people that can do things that he or she just cannot do. That's what a leader is. A leader will always listen to the advice of others. A great leader will never believe that he or she just knows everything. If you are dealing with somebody that believes that they know it all, you got a decision to make, because there's nothing that you can do to get through to that person. You will have to be argumentative. You will have to be easily angered and have an attitude for them to even shut up to listen to what you got to say. And then it'll be forced for them to listen to you, for them to take your advice. It will have to be forced. You will have to get out your body, so far out your body, to be something that you don't need to be, that's so far away from 365 just to get through to this person. Do you really, really, truly want to marinate in your pain, your negativity and misery to give it to somebody else for them to do what you asking them to do? Let me tell you something. It does not take all that. You know what it takes to get a person to do what you need them to do? Ask them. If you ask somebody to do something for you and they don't want to do it, and this is your man, this is your woman, and they don't want to do what you're asking them to do, that's a big problem. You're going to have to look at yourself. You got to look at your self-standards. You got to look at the standards that you have for a significant other and the standards that you have for a partnership. You're going to have to analyze that, and you're going to have to see what the problem is. Because if you got to get out your body to get somebody to do something that you are just simply asking, that's going to cater to your happiness, you got to get mad at them. You're not going to have 365 in your partnership. You're going to have a lot of dissatisfied days. You're going to have a lot of angry days. You're going to have a whole lot of arguments. You're going to have fights. And it is not a good look. And it is not good for your growth. And it is not good for your greatness. You can't deal with somebody that don't listen. And if you are that person that don't listen, you really need to have some talks with yourself. You need to sit down on a chair or a couch, turn the lights off, the music off, no TV, no nothing. You need to sit in the darkness and you need to talk to yourself, because you are destroying your own life, your own future, and your own connections with people. You have to be able to listen. If you are in a relationship with somebody or a marriage and you're trying to upgrade it to a partnership, you have to listen to them to even know what's needed of you or what's not needed of you. You need to know what you need to do to upgrade yourself, to be able to be in a great relationship with somebody and upgrade it to a partnership. You got to be a great person to have a great bond with somebody. It doesn't work any other way. So we could talk about the problems all day. We could talk about what is happening. We could talk about why it's happening, how it's happening, when is it happening. But what are the solutions? We got to find solutions to these problems, because a lot of people are having these problems, but they don't know how to solve it. You want somebody to listen. Well, how are they going to learn how to listen? If someone is argumentative, how are they going to learn how to just calm down and do what's needed? If someone has an attitude problem, anger problem, how are they going to deal with those emotions inside of them? How are they going to manage it? How are they going to destroy it and minimize it within themselves? Well, that's what I'm here for. But let's talk about the solutions. You want the solutions? Go to my website. That's what we're going to talk about. All solutions and go down a positive path. 365.
Now, if I treat you the way I treat me, that motivates you to do what we need. Now, if you treat me the way you treat you, and maybe we'll be one as two can be. I know I'm good for you, you good for me, we good for each other.